Hello and welcome back, YouTube. It is still Tuesday night. Why am I vlogging from my living room? Because I just had to share this. It's Tuesday, June. Oh, come on, get the date to come up. June 27th, 2023. 10:04 p.m. And yeah, I'm actually working on karaoke because I was really excited about the Paul McCartney thing, right? Which I went off at length in the last video. And it's not that often that I just kind of sit in my this mess that I like to call my office, but basically the lab to work on my karaoke music library because I haven't been actively hosting since last November. However, I do sometimes try to keep working on my library, keep adding to it. And I was really excited about that Paul McCartney. I mean, I went off at length about it, right? And the thing with my karaoke music is I am sitting on so much of it. Like, in a perfect world, I would be making so much money at karaoke that I could dedicate, 5 hours a day of just sitting and working on music and still probably never catch up on all of this. I mean, for me, living the karaoke dream would be maybe having 2 or 3 different systems and people working for me and so many contracts that I put this shit together and there are people out hosting it, and I host maybe 3 or 4 shows a week, and the rest of the time just spend it working on music and existing on music and making a living working on music, because this is my passion. And it probably seems boring, especially when you see what archaic software I'm using, which is largely by choice. And anyway, so I generally speaking, and I've explained this in the past, but I haven't really talked about how I work on karaoke music in a while. But generally speaking, when I work on music, after I add a song from an artist, I go through the rest of what I'm sitting on and I try to see, well, do I have anything else? So I just got done with this track for 1985 by Paul McCartney and Wings. So I had to go through my database to see, hey, how do I even do that? It's been a while since I've done that, because sometimes with artists that people might look up in more than one way, when both ways are technically correct, I generally have cross listings. That way, however somebody goes to search for it, they can find it in my database. And definitely Paul McCartney and Wings is one of them. So, I haven't added it to the database yet. All right, let me get over. Hang on. I know how to work this stuff, really I do. So I got the second one there. So let's upload to Songbook DB. Incremental upload, . Okay, it's live now. I thought I already did that, but I hadn't done that yet. So click back over to this browser, and there's my Songbook DB page. Refresh the just added list, and right at the top, there we got both listings there. One for McCartney, Paul McCartney and Wings, 1985, and then I went ahead and put 1985 in parentheses because I figure if it's listed like that on YouTube, there's a chance that that's what somebody knows that song is, and maybe they're going to look for it by typing in the numbers 1985, as opposed to typing it out as the song is actually titled on the cover of Band on the Run. I also find it amusing that it's a lot more likely that somebody's going to be searching for 1985, the one big hit from Bowling for Soup, and they're also going to get, as a result, 1985, parentheses 1985 by Paul McCartney and Wings. And we're like, oh, didn't know Paul McCartney had a song with that name. Wonder what that's about. Anyway, so you see I got one listing with the artists McCartney, Paul McCartney and Wings. And I don't know why this isn't focusing better, but this is a cheap-ass phone. I'm on Obamaphone 3, by the way. And then the other one just simply is Wings, which is the primary listing. Like, that's where it is in my karaoke library. It's just simply under Wings. I keep everything, and no Paul McCartney, and just Wings. And now, granted, a lot of those albums were released where it said Paul McCartney and Wings on the titles, on the labels, on the actual labels. And some Wings albums just simply say Wings. I don't know, to me, saying, even though it was correct and printed on a lot of the albums as Paul McCartney and Wings, to me that has the same ring to it as Paul McCartney and the Beatles. And I don't know, to me, Wings stand alone as a great band, a great body of work, especially if you've seen some of their live performances. I've got a CED concert. I'm sure I've probably got it on another format too. I think my CED concerts are down in this general area. Yeah, this one here. This is just one of the greatest concert videos of all time. And of course it says Paul McCartney in bold letters and in smaller, harder to read text and Wings, but rock show. And of course it just says Sir Paul on the cover. And yes, that is a CED, Select Division disc. That's a video on vinyl. This disc plays fucking great, by the way. But yeah, rock show, that was actually back in the day shown theatrically. That was a way for people who couldn't afford to actually go to a Paul McCartney and Wings concert to go see one at the drive-in theater back in the day, and was successful as a theatrically released concert video, which is not something that's been successful for many artists. And it's been successful. Like it's been, I mean, I'm sure I can buy that on a Blu-ray. Sure I can. Sure I can stream that on several platforms, although hard to say. McCartney stuff's kind of weird when it comes to streaming. At any rate, if I was going to watch it, I would honestly fire up my CED player. Oh, that's Paul Simon. That one plays really good too. But yeah, the last time I watched this concert, last couple times I watched this concert, I watched it off that Blue Caddy CED disc because it freaking plays great. But when you watch that, you realize Wings is a whole lot more than just Paul McCartney. So anyway, that's always Fallon and Wings. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked because I was just going to be like a 3-minute just explanation of, hi, I'm Dan and I don't pay attention to stuff. But anyway, so I get this in here, and I was talking about the difference between obscure karaoke with a C and obscure with a K. And so I'm in here where my stuff gets filed away, and I realized that one there, which is, as I showed you in the channel, the channel's called Igor Davis. But when it plays on the screen, and mind you, I've oh, that's Sea Moon. That's the wrong one. I really struggle to see these small fonts these days. Something's got to give with the vision. Anyway, I ended up putting it in as Igwa Productions. I've been downloading stuff from that channel for years, and I've never actually added anything into the library, and that kind of threw me for a loop. So I decided to put it, because my filing system, basically, it's artist, the word karaoke, title, and then in parentheses what brand of karaoke it is. And the obscure karaoke is what stands out, but I went ahead and put it as Igwa Productions, because that is a very distinct, different channel, and I am sitting on a bunch of those. I just have yet to add. This is the first one that I've actually got motivated enough to add into my collection. As I went and looked here, this is where I'm currently filing my backups, and for stuff that came from YouTube. And here's obscure. There's obscure karaoke with a C. And when I pop that up, I'm like, oh, there's that channel, which has been around a lot longer than the other one, I think. I've been downloading for this one for a long time. Obscure, spelled O-B-S-C-U-R-E. Now that one, it's got karaoke written in Japanese because he likes to get creative. But yeah, the ones that has that red and green splash screen with the skull and the microphone. Not always the best quality, kind of hit and miss, but this was one of the early YouTube karaoke homebrew channels. And I don't add a lot from it, but generally if I add something, it's because the version was passable for me, and it's like, I can't get the song anywhere else. Like this one here, I Come From the Water by the Toadies. I've never seen this on karaoke from anyone else. And while this version isn't exactly the highest sound quality, it's doable. If somebody can rock this, I've sang it at my show before, it gets the job done. So I realized that one's the one that's listed as obscure spelled correctly, OBSCURE karaoke. Since I've been doing my backups like this, I also added the Dan band version. I still got the karaoke in Japanese as well. Not all of those are like that, but there's one, the Dan band version of Total Eclipse of the Heart. Because, yeah, this is the best way to sing Total Eclipse of the Heart, the karaoke show. So nobody has to suffer through 7 minutes of a song that's too long, but you get to drop all them glorious F-bombs that everybody wants to hear these days on this song. It's funny how many people think of this song with the F-bombs in it and don't even realize where that originates from. But yeah, the Dan Band. And Obscure Karaoke actually put out, and that one sounds really good, a legit version for... and there's the F-bomb right on the screen. Well, fucking every now and then I fall apart. I fucking need you more than ever. Anyway, I had to, as soon as I saw that was on that channel, I'm like dropped what I was doing. I got that added in. Those are the only two, like, since I've gone to this filing system. Other stuff's backed up in a different way on a different drive somewhere. This is Obscure with a K. Now that's a channel I've been using quite a lot in recent years, as you can see from the different ones. And I'm glad I double checked this one, because I have this one here for The Cure, and I had it filed under the wrong Obscure Karaoke, because that's Obscure with a K. They don't always put the Obscure Karaoke on their splash screens, and occasionally they would spell it correctly instead of spelling it with a K. So I was glad I noticed that had been filed in the wrong place. Not like it makes any difference to anybody on hosting my show, but it's just kind of nice to have my backups organized. I kind of thrive on things like this being organized, so. It's a great track, by the way, for The Cure Primary. Not that I've had anybody sing this one yet either, but I'm hoping somebody at some point will. This is another one from that channel, Obscure with a K. Oh, and that one, it's actually spelled OBSCURE. Because, yeah, on some of them they did spell it, but their channel name is Obscure with a K. Oh, I gotta have one where it shows the K. Yeah, there's another one doesn't show the... Most of them are just like that. It just shows R as a title and it doesn't show a brand. There's no branding on it. Same with that one right there. How about Aerosmith? I was surprised I have an Aerosmith track for them. You think I'd have this from a more mainstream brand. Nope. That one doesn't show the brand either. Prince, maybe? Oh, this is a good way to get my stuff blocked. Although these ones managed to not get blocked on Obscure Karaoke, at least not at the time I downloaded them. No, that one's not listed either. Y'all killing me here. I can't seem to find any of them where it's spelled Obscure with a K. That's frustrating. Because most of them, they do say it. It's apparently not the ones I've been choosing to add to the library. How about Rollins Band? Here we go. There's Obscure with a K. I haven't got to sing this one at my show yet, because the only show I've had since I've got this has been at Bullock's Cocktails, and this would have flown like a lead turd at Bullock's Cocktails. But someday I will get the right show. I will sing the shit out of this song. I love Henry Rollins, like in his Rollins Band phase. But I think you got a low self-opinion, man. I see you standing all by yourself. This song was actually my introduction to Henry Rollins. I didn't get into Henry Rollins through the Misfits. I got into Henry Rollins when they played this as a new song on KUKQ, and I just love this. And it wasn't until like maybe 2 years later that Liar was a minor hit. That definitely came out before. I remember seeing him on that tour too at one of the KQ Fest. Anyway, so there's Obscure Karaoke, Obscure with a K. So I end up like realizing, okay, I've already got Obscure with a K, and that's one brand, although it doesn't always say that. on the splash screens. And then I have Obscure with a C, and that's the one with the what looks like an x-ray of a skull with a microphone. So this is something different. So I decided to go with Eagle Productions. And I go through all, which of course means that I'm creating a different folder for it to get put away and a different kind of like header for it, because I didn't have one for this. So another brand, another breed of karaoke adding into the library. And do I need to catalog all this stuff? No. Does the average karaoke host do their library in this level of detail? No. I'm just autistic like that. I just thrive on having stuff that meticulously organized. Anyway, so I get this in, I get it done. It ends up being quite a bit of extra work because of all this extra. Oh, and of course I changed the aspect ratio because it was 4:3, so I stretched it out to 16:9, and then I cropped a little off the top and bottom so the font wouldn't look too stretched out. Came out great. And then, so I do a search through some of my karaoke inboxes of purchased and downloaded karaoke to see what else I have. What else I have for Paul McCartney or Wings karaoke. Because at this point I got my website here where it's McCartney, Paul McCartney and Wings. So, I mean, it would be nice to have Paul McCartney grouped. There it is. Paul McCartney grouped with that. And then, of course, any other Wings. So the first place that I look, generally when I start adding more stuff, is the stuff I purchased from Karaoke Version, because that stuff typically costs me $3 a track. I've been paying good money for that shit for years, and so much of it I just never got added into the library. And wouldn't you know it, and I even mentioned that it had come up, and I thought that I didn't get it, because I remember when Mrs. Vanderbilt came up, like it was in my my shopping cart, ready for me to purchase it. And then bam, blocked for karaoke. Now, I think the same thing happened with 1985 as well. But I think on this particular one, when this one came up, and it's saying 2021, so semi-recently, when this one came up, I'm sure I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's Paul McCartney. That could get pulled for karaoke within hours. I better get that right now. And so yeah, I'm so excited that I find one that's flawed on a brand that it's not even a brand technically, it's just a homebrew YouTube channel, but it's a passable version, and I went through all that hassle and stuff for it, including like a week of fucking with my YouTube downloader, trying to get it to free up enough RAM so it'll work, because it doesn't really like to work on this, in Windows 7 and whatnot, and here I've got this. All the flaws that one has seem to not be present in this. Karaoke Version is usually a very high quality karaoke product. It's also what's used for all the shows, and it's a lot of shows that do it nowadays that use the KaraFun streaming service. Two shows I regularly go to that do that are Newtown Saloon and also Ozbar. There's a place I used to go to up in Glendale that do that as well. I forget the name of it, but it's over near the Great Skate. Shake it. I'm waiting for the backing vocals to come in. I'm sure the oohs are going to be there. Baby, don't break it. I expect this is going to have everything I want in the track, which means it's going to immediately... Oh, no, it has the oohs on the screen. Ooh. No, it's got them on the screen and it's got the harmonies. There we go. That's what the other one was lacking. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. And of course, this version, which is one surely I paid $3 for this. I might have used a free song credit, because every so often I get some free ones from these guys, but ain't that a kick in the pants? Anyway, as much as I went off about that on the last one, I just thought I'd share that lovely oversight. So, of course, now I got to do a whole bunch of extra work to keep my library updated. So I got to go back to where I put this other one in here. that I listed as Igloo Productions, that goes into a different place where I keep versions that I've already determined are inferior to the versions that I use, as opposed to duplicate versions that may or may not be inferior to the ones I'm using, but I just haven't compared them yet. This is one that will definitely be compared because I've listened to them all the way through, and this is going to go in the definitely don't use it pile. So why do I keep it? It's made it into my database at this point. It's something I have. If for some reason in the future there ever ends up being some kind of legit legal issues with me using purchased tracks that I paid for from karaoke version, weirder things have happened in the karaoke business. I've got a fallback position on it. So the synthesizer on this one sounds better too. That kind of synth sounds better on this track than the other one. Okay, I gotta skip forward to the end to see if it's got the Band on the Run ending. Yeah, Band on the Run, Band on the Run, Band on the Run, Band on the Run. I'm willing to bet money that I can't sing that at a Carafun streamed show. Because once they get pulled for copyright, they're gone from the streaming. So that is in mine. I've purchased that. They can't take it away from me. So it'll get switched out. Nobody's ever going to see that other one at the show. Y'all just saw it here, me working in the karaoke factory. So anyway, on that note, hey, went through my mail. I got my check from K-Power. I do have my rent covered, so thank God for miracles and the guy that helped me out with some cash on Sunday. And I'm still in dire straits financially, but I do think I'm going to be able to pull out of this. So anyway, thanks for listening to me and my insanity. I just waste a whole lot of time on a karaoke track that probably nobody will ever sing but me. And there's a good chance I'll never get around to singing it either. But hey, that's what makes my karaoke different from other people's shows when the shows are actually happening.